To our 21st showpiece final for a place at the top table. It's the Coca-Cola Championship playoff final. Blackpool and Cardiff live from Wembley in high definition on Sky Sports HD1 channel 408 and Sky Sports 1, and for the first time available in 3D, Sky Sports 3D. For Blackpool, it's a fifth major final of the last decade, but this really is the one that matters. The Tangerine Army tantalisingly close to the top tier for the first time since 1971. This is one roller coaster ride that nobody wants to get off. Cardiff are back here just 2 years after leaving Wembley as beaten FA Cup finalists. Victory under the arch this afternoon would more than make amends, and after 48 years hoping for a return to the highest level, the Bluebirds are now just 90 minutes away. What a day for these fans as well. From South Wales and the Lancashire coast, they have flocked in their thousands for their day in the sunshine. And they won't be disappointed. It is a scorcher here at Wembley. Game available in 3D, remember, for the first time this afternoon. Your match commentators in 3D are Gary Bertels and Daniel Mann. And on Sky Sports HD1 and 1, your commentary team is Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Ian Holloway went away during his break from football after he left Leicester. He re-evaluated how he wanted his teams to play, and this Blackpool team, the result. He picks this afternoon the same side that started both semi-finals and indeed the last 6 games. Matt Gilks only made the #1 jersey his own in February, but he's kept it ever since. Seamus Coleman on loan from Everton, part of a back line that includes Ian Evatt, one of 2 survivors in this Blackpool side from the one that won here in the League One playoffs 3 years ago. The other is Keith Southern in midfield, alongside Welshman David Vaughan and the dynamic Scotsman Charlie Adam. Top scorer, record signing and player of the season. DJ Campbell free to play as his parent club Leicester fell at the semi-final stage. Gary Taylor-Fletcher and Brett Ormerod, a scorer for Blackpool in the League 2 playoff win here 9 years ago. Well, Stephen Dobbie's a striker on loan from Swansea. He might well be given the freedom of that city if he can score a winning goal here. Also a Welsh connection with defender Rob Edwards.
Well, Blackpool have now very much settled into a 4-3-3 formation, and just like Cardiff, they possess a real goal threat, particularly in Charlie Adam from midfield and strikers DJ Campbell and Brett Ormerod. Cardiff are pretty potent up front, so I think that central defenders Ian Evatt and Alex Baptiste have to be at the top of the game this afternoon if Blackpool are going to succeed.
Well, Scottish international goalkeeper David Marshall, whose penalty saves brought Cardiff to Wembley, is their #1. David Jones' main decision did have to be made at the back. He's opted to keep the same side. So Mark Hudson, playoff winner with Palace in 2003, is partnered by the local lad Darcy Blake. Chris Burke was the fans' player of the season. Former Leeds Premier League midfielder Stephen McPhail and local lad Joe Ledley, the heartbeat of the side. And the goals come from Peter Whittingham. Top scorer, 25 of them in all competitions. Jay Bothroyd and Michael Chopra, both with Premier League experience in the past. Like all these players, 90 minutes away from it again in the near future. Probably the most disappointed man on this Cardiff bench is Anthony Gerrard, very much the man to miss out, unable to regain his place in the defence after injury.
Cardiff are going to play their usual 4-4-2 formation. They possess in Jay Bothroyd and Michael Chopra arguably the best 2-man strike combination in the Championship. They've got mobility, pace, power. They're good on the deck. Bothroyd poses an aerial threat. So it's really important that the likes of Peter Whittingham and Chris Burke, the wide men who are obvious goal threats themselves, are able to provide the ammunition for that potent front 2.
The Wembley Tunnel. The departure lounge for one almighty journey for one of these 2 clubs. That magical mystery tour around the most famous grounds in the land. For the other, bar one memorable day out at Wembley, it'll be back to the familiar Championship surroundings next year. It's the Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge, Emirates debate against the likes of Glanford Park, Keepmoat Stadium and Oakwell. Dave Dave Jones, who came within one goal of guiding Cardiff to the playoffs last season. That was the margin of them missing out. This time they get a crack at the big time. They have had some unlikely double acts at the end of the Pier Show down the decades, Blackpool. Many have caught the imagination and gone on to the big time. But Ollie and the Seasiders, who'd have thought it would end up like this here? In the scorching temperatures down pitch side, the presentation committee make their way out. Greg Clark, the new chairman of the Football League, presiding over the playoffs for the first time. Sanjay Guha there, the president of Coca-Cola, Great Britain and Ireland. And a representative from the Forces, Help for Heroes, the chosen charity of the Football League this season. Well, Don, you could apply all the usual playoff final platitudes about playing the game, not the occasion, but when the talk has been about nothing else for these two towns for the last 10 days, the talk of lives being transformed, how can the players not be affected by the magnitude of the occasion?
Well, I think this is the part of the game, or the part of the situation where they probably are still feeling a little bit nervous, you know, because at this stage of proceedings, all they want to do is kick off. And once that first whistle blows, usually players can put that aside. And if they get off to a good start, which is what both teams are going to be looking to do, then it really settles down and calms the nerves.
Both clubs will feel that they have a claim to the fairy tale. Blackpool, famous for those past glories, Stan Mortensen and Stanley Matthews back in 1953. Cardiff's Cup winners even further back, 1927. Their 1-0 win here against Arsenal, Hughie Ferguson's goal. There'll be no prouder Blackpool man here today than the man you just saw, Jimmy Armfield, the most capped ever Blackpool player. And the last game for the club that he played was their last game in the top flight of English football. The playoff system caters for the unlikely and for the remarkable. That's applicable for these two, and we get it underway when we come back.
Monday night's massive night of AFL.
He's the man for the moment.
7:30, join Dwayne Russell from the winner's circle with a look back at the latest round of AFL.
Sizes him up for 45. He's a gem, that kid.
Then live at 8:30, two Brownlow medalists and Australia's premier footy writer debate the weekend's hottest issues.
I can't believe the blokes can be KO'd, knocked cold, carted off on stretchers and be back on the footy ground a half an hour later.
One big night, two great shows, only on Fox Sports.
Tick, tock. Countdown to the World Cup starts now. Just 3 games to be ready, to think and move as one. Tomorrow, last game on home soil, Australia face New Zealand. Then it's touchdown South Africa. June 1, Australia, Denmark. June 5, Australia, USA.
South Africa, here they come.
The countdown is on with 3 live games and World Cup reports. You'll be ready.
My name is Gary and I'm a bricklayer, the best in town, maybe even Australia. I'll build you a house using bricks and mortar, and I'll work in a sillet. Fathers, lock up your daughters. I got all my tools, I'm the building site. If I got to ensure, I got to do it right. My tools, my youth, my shorts, my blue healer. You help me out if somebody steal her. Gary. Bricklayer.
We work with you in CGU.
Before that, who will be remembered as the hero this time round? Let's find out with Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Well, persuading his chairman to part with £500,000 for one player can't have been easy for Ian Holloway when he arrived at Bloomfield Road in Blackpool. But the fee for Charlie Adam now looks an absolute snip, doesn't it? It'll look even more so if they can get their hands on the bounty that awaits, if they can win this game as well. Charlie Adam is Blackpool's talisman. That role could well be thrust on Peter Whittingham for Cardiff. His goals carried the Bluebirds to the playoffs, and when there, one in each semi-final got them to Wembley as well. Well, Dave Jones has done it with Wolves in the past. He woke a sleeping giant 7 years ago with that playoff win. Now can he become one of the first managers to win playoff finals at this level with different clubs? in Holloway's first home game as Blackpool manager against his great friend Dave Jones and Cardiff back in August. Probably only Ian Holloway could have dreamt the season would finish like this, on a day like this, with so much at stake. The richest game on the planet might just have got richer due to those renegotiated parachute payments, but the story remains the same. The side that hoves their nerve, the side that can find at their best on the big occasion, is the side that will set their trajectory for the big league next season.
We spoke about how important it was to get off to a really good start and really help calm your nerves down, your teammates' nerves down, your manager's nerves down, and your supporters' nerves down. And this opening 5-10 minutes, very important in the grand scheme of things for me.
Ian Holloway promising that this may well be the year for an open final behind the promoted pair of West Bromwich Albion and Newcastle. These two clubs are top scorers in the Championship. Their playoff semi-final second legs yielded 12 goals. Historically, since the Championship playoff finals have returned to Wembley, though, they have been tight, they have been tense, and they have been decided by Messrs Pearson, Windass and Wade Elliott for their respective clubs, whose name will be up in lights today. Blackpool looking to force the early pace. Marshall comes a long way, doesn't get hold of it. Keith Southern coming forward from midfield to Forage.
Good defending from Darcy Blake, had to be aware of the midfield run, and sometimes, you know, people could only think that Charlie Adam is the one that makes those runs, but Southern gets forward as well.
On by Gary Taylor-Fletcher, started off his career at Northwich Victoria. Enjoying his best run of the season in the side, and already a scorer against Welsh opposition. Nothing between these two, no signposts, no pointers as to how this might work out with their league meetings. One goal apiece in both of them. First one all the way back in August, the last one in January. Since then they've only been able to get a look at each other from afar. They're nose to nose, toe to toe down there in scorching Wembley conditions today. And of course, so much has been written, spoken and speculated about the pitch. It is what it is at Wembley. It's a factor that everyone has to deal with now.
That's absolutely right as well. I just think that provided players can stand up and not lose the footing when they change direction sharply, I don't think you'll find any complaints from the players.
Vaughan for Craney. The second time in these opening exchanges that they've attempted that sort of a ball to cross the angle of the Cardiff defence.
That was Ian Evatt, the centre-half, who probably gets forward more than any centre-half in the Championship, certainly in the games I've seen. Absolutely no fear about pushing on into those forward areas.
Peter Whittingham now for Cardiff. A wonderful atmosphere on a wonderful afternoon for spectators anyway here. Whittingham drills it in, Chopra, crossbar! Well, it's taken barely 3 minutes for the first big moment of the match.
Well, I spoke about Whittingham and Burke getting service into Chopra and Bothroyd. Watch where he starts from. Michael Chopra's awareness. He's aware the ball's coming in and he gets across Ian Evatt. It's a difficult chance because he's already past the near post by the time contact's made. He knows what kind of contact he wants. Just a little flick and he just gets a smidgen too much on it. It's really unlucky for Cardiff.
Well, the last side to play here in blue hit the woodwork 6 times. That was Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Cardiff have got number 1. Craney. Ian Evatt. Alex Baptiste, relegated out of the Football League a couple of years back with Mansfield Town. Now on the brink of the Premier League.
Well, that'll do Cardiff a lot of good, won't it, you know? Look at that for heat. You think it's warm where they're sat? I think so.
You mentioned about playing the game, not the occasion. It's also about playing the conditions today, of course. This hot spell suddenly arriving. There's been no time to prepare in the hot conditions.
The longer, stating the obvious, but the longer the game goes on, the more of a factor that heat is going to become.
McFadden. Almost metronomic in that midfield for Cardiff, the way he distributes the ball on this occasion to Burke. Cut out by Craney. Jay Bothroyd is moving a little gingerly. That'll be a concern for Cardiff.
Certainly worth keeping an eye on that, isn't it? One or two knocks in the second leg of the semi-final, didn't he? Managed to see the game through.
Games of this intensity and indeed of excitement and quality, mentally draining as well, both the semi-finals, even for the winners. Could be comfortably cut out. Indeed it is by the experienced Mark Kennedy.
Alert to the danger, and it wasn't lost on me there that the first thing they wanted to do, Blackpool, was try and get DJ Campbell in behind the Cardiff defence. One question mark about those, particularly the central, well, the defenders in general. Action of a lack of pace, possibly.
Training. Charlie Adam. Baptiste. Everett. Brett Ormerod. It's a 4-3-3, but you'll have already noticed players popping up all over in unconventional positions, if you like, for Blackpool. That's Whittingham away for Cardiff. Now Bothroyd, buffeted by Charlie Adam, but holding strong. Seeking Chopra, little glance there from Cardiff's 20-goal striker.
His movement is very, very clever. I think Blackpool will be very aware about that.
He's still glancing over to the Cardiff City bench, Jay Bothroyd. Concern mounting. The player they consider to be one of the best headers of the ball in this league is going to have to depart early. Best laid plans, every detail will have been meticulously gone over by both managers. You can't plan for the unexpected.
I think a fit Jay Bothroyd would have got on the end of that ball. He's clearly not happy.
Well, Kelvin Atuhu, a young striker on loan from Manchester City, will be the obvious replacement should Jay Bothroyd's predicament rule him out of the remainder of the match. That's Gary Taylor-Fletcher seeking Ormerod. Now Burke. Everett cuts it out, on by McPhail for Bothroyd again. Movement from Whittingham and Chopra here. Baptiste closes the door.
So far, it's some really good defending, hasn't there, from both teams.
Whittingham. Oh, Chopra's found a little pocket of space. Chopra! Michael Chopra for Cardiff City. One massive step in the right direction. And that signpost says Premier League.
Well, I told you, he's a clever player. He's very, very aware of where defenders are. And what he does was he pulls himself away and he finds all the space. Look, he's in an offside position, but as this develops, keep your eye on Michael Chopra. He comes onside and then he goes back in. It's a perfectly timed run. And when he's in that position, the one thing you know that Michael Chopra's going to do is he's going to hit the target. And when he hits the target, he gives himself a great chance of finding the back of the net. It's a super strike, very accurate in the corner, and it's a great finish. He's made that look an awful lot easier than it actually was. It's a start that Cardiff wanted.
And his Wolves side scored very early, didn't they? when they went up 3-0 winners against Sheffield United 7 seasons ago. His Cardiff side have done the same here.
Well, I was there that day at the Millennium Stadium, and I know they blew Sheffield United away in literally the first half. The game was done by half-time at 3-0 up, and well, they've got the platform to try and recreate that, Cardiff. A long way to go, though.
Overall, twisting, turning, running into a blue wall. Chopra joins that elite club of scorers in Championship playoff finals at this new Wembley Stadium. 1-0 has been the scoreline that's done it since it's come back here from Cardiff, and 1-0 the scoreline that Cardiff City have.
Well, the one thing I will say to everybody listening at home is that Blackpool were behind against Bristol City on the last day of the season, the regular season. They were behind against Nottingham Forest at home, and they were behind against Nottingham Forest away. So this Blackpool team have got bundles of character.
Well, they're still assessing the situation with Jay Bothroyd. And how about the other boy doing his job? He'd already, remember, rattled the woodwork before he rose to the big occasion again.
We know Blackpool, as well as being very capable of scoring goals, we know that they're very capable of conceding goals, and you know what, it may not be a massive, massive surprise to Ian Holloway, but the one thing they do possess is that goal threat, that obvious goal threat. They've scored in each of the last 11 games.
Away in commanding style by Darcy Blake. 21-year-old from Caerphilly. Well, he does operate in a way, a we'll score more than you strategy. The number of goals they've scored this season, 74 of them in the league, testament to that, and they've conceded 50-odd as well. It's seldom dull when the men in Tangerine are around. Charlie Adam. Seeking and finding Ormerod, who went for the first-time cross. Darcy Blake away. Out comes Baptiste, the centre-half. Seamus Coleman. Baptiste. Coleman again. For Vaughan, who's got a wonderful left foot on it. Blocked out by McPhail this time, and he's adjudged by the referee, Andre Mariner, to have been using his hands.
Well, he's not complaining very much, is he, Stephen McPhail, which generally tends to indicate that he agrees with the referee. The ball's being drilled, his arm's way above where it should be. That's a good spot by the ref.
I mentioned a moment ago that Vaughan has a useful left foot, but Charlie Adam can probably see him and raise him. 17 goals this season, Charlie Adam. And here he is, sizing it up at Wembley Stadium. Adam strikes it well. Oh, he strikes it absolutely beautifully. Charlie Adam, the £500,000 signing in the richest game of football, with a wonderful strike.
Well, I think we're going to have the final all we neutrals hope for. If the opening 13 minutes is anything to go by, what about it? Charlie Adam would have been dreaming about that last night, dreaming about getting a free kick in that kind of area, but then to have the execution, to have the technique, to get the ball up, and in that postage stamp of a corner, and that's what it is. That is the perfect view of how good that free kick is absolutely brilliant. Magnificent strike, game on.
5 times in the last 6 years it's been tight, it's been cagey, it's been a 1-0 scoreline. Not even quarter of an hour played. It's Blackpool 1, Cardiff City 1. Ian Holloway promised us 2 sides that would slug it out. He knew his great pal Dave Jones would feel the same way. Fasten your seatbelts, 4.5 minutes in between goals, and it would be a major surprise if that was that for the afternoon. Chopra finding space yet again. Back comes Craney. Bothroyd is not good. He's going to have to go off sooner rather than later. this Championship playoff final rarity. The first time since Barnsley and Ipswich locked horns here, the last final at the old Wembley Stadium back in 2000, that both clubs have scored within the regulation 90 minutes.
Well, it's a shame for him. Really, really feel for him, because he is a massive part of what Cardiff City do and have done this season. He'll be so disappointed. All he can do now is watch and pray.
Jay Bothroyd, who's enjoying his best ever scoring season. His season's over here now. And Kelvin Atuhu has had his injury problems himself. Manchester City trainee. He's been on loan at Rochdale. He's on loan under Ian Holloway briefly when he was manager at Leicester City. Comes on. Cardiff forced to switch the strike pairing, which has served them so well over the course of the season.
Slightly different proposition, isn't he? Kelvin Atuhu, raw, out-and-out pace. He's got the big striker, maybe less of a threat in the air, but he will certainly be looking to get in behind that Blackpool defence.
Well, much of the talk in the build-up to the game, Don, about whether the big players turn up for the big occasion. Michael Chopra for Cardiff City, Charlie Adam for Blackpool. They're both here all right.
You better believe it. There are plenty more here, waiting to be shown.
Whittingham finds Atuhu. Adam in closely. Chopra on the move again. Atuhu alongside him. He looks for Burke, only finds Craney, the other Scotsman down this left side, who tanks forward for Blackpool. Now Ormerod, with flick on by Taylor Fletcher and getting caught by Mark Hudson. Sadly, well late there.
Yeah, he was. Central defender. For pace. It's a good swift break, wasn't it? And as Ormerod lays that in, Taylor Fletcher comes and gets there ahead of Mark Hudson. We've already seen the quality of Charlie Adams' free kicks now. He's not going to be shooting from here, but you know, the flip side of it is he's in a position to be able to get a really good delivery into that area.
And he goes for the low grub at Adam McPhail. Chips up in the air, back in by Keith Southern. That's away by McNaughton. Blackpool looking to keep this pressure on. Seamus Coleman. Ormerod round the corner. Excellent ball in, but defending to match from Darcy Blake. Out comes Marshall, hasn't got there, but he was, in the mind of Andre Mariner, impeded.
I'm not sure about that, and we often say goalkeepers are an overprotective species. It's not really convincing. Again, Blackpool manipulate the ball out wide. That's a great ball in, and it's equally good defending, but Taylor Fletcher eyes on the ball. Does he lean in? A little bit soft. Every picture tells a story, doesn't it? You have to feel for him.
It's not just in terms of goals that it's been his best season for many a year. They've managed to find that key to unlock his talents. Constant coaxing and cajoling, no doubt, to keep his concentration. But as you said already, Don, he's been a key cog in this Cardiff machine. And it's got to where they have never got before. Playoff final at this level. Blackpool also where they have never been before, a playoff final at this level. Ormerod nearly ghosted in ahead of Marshall.
We've just seen the possession statistics there, and as it appears, Blackpool seeing much more of the ball. Cardiff at the minute really playing a little bit on the counter-attack.
Ian Holloway will have told these Blackpool players that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for most of them. The chances of them, should they end up on the losing side here, being able to repeat the feat next season, get back into the playoffs, even get automatic promotion, it's far from probable. That's why they want to do it this time. DJ Campbell had an opportunity to strike it there, but he caught fresh air.
Well, he held his run beautifully, and he was spotted beautifully, DJ Campbell.
Baptiste is back and just gets enough on the header.
But it very much is a rearguard action at the moment for Cardiff City. It's all Blackpool. Saw the possession there earlier on. It's identical to the possession statistics when they were playing Nottingham Forest. They dominated the ball, Blackpool.
We touched on earlier the change in the Holloway belief, and Ian Evatt speaking in the build-up to the match, saying how he feels that the new Holloway has brought out the best in him. Here he is, the man who played under Holloway at Queen's Park Rangers. Said he used to just tell me to lump it long, getting out of danger. Now it's all about passing through the midfield. Total football, inspired by Roberto Martinez and Swansea City, how they used to play. Here's the man from Abergele, the Welshman Vaughan, to take it on and fire it wide.
Well, he would have been encouraged by his midfield partner's effort, wouldn't he, from the free kick? But it just opens up a little bit, and he has got an equally good left foot, David Vaughan. You can see it's a really good strike. David Marshall's confident that that's going wide, but it's not that far wide.
Said he's prepared by the land of his fathers to be cast in the role of villain today. He is a current Welsh international, David Vaughan. Passionate compatriot as well on the North Wales coast up in Denbighshire. Baptiste has missed it. Seamus Coleman with his work cut out to get the better of Chopra. With the help of his pal Baptiste, he can. Now Vaughan. He dropped into space for Craney. Adam. Cut out by Ledley, but collected by Southern. Vaughan. Blackpool coursing with confidence after their equalising goal. The Holloway machine almost up to purring status. Vaughan. Turned around the corner by DJ Campbell. Still he's going DJ Campbell. Appeals for handball off the on loan Leicester striker, falling on deaf ears. Cardiff players were looking for it, weren't they?
He's got this ball, he just seems to flick it up, doesn't it? Looks like it comes off the midriff anyway, so no danger there.
Just before that, I think the Cardiff players felt that he'd handled it as well in the build-up. Nothing given, no. Evatt. And away by Hudson, but not far enough. Southern, very much an unsung hero for Blackpool. One of those two survivors from their playoff final win here in League One a couple of seasons ago. DJ Campbell. It's all hands on deck at the moment for Cardiff. Blackpool coming wave after wave.
It is wave after wave as well. I do not think Dave Jones is going to like what he's seeing so far in the opening 22-23 minutes. Super strike by Charlie Adam, but Stephen McPhail may rue having his arm away from his body. It certainly struck at him with a lot of power, but his arm is in an unnatural position there. He really gives Andre Mariner no choice but to give that free kick, and that is the ultimate punishment, isn't it, for what seemed like an innocent indiscretion, but they really don't care.
1971, the last time many of those Blackpool fans here today won't have even been born the last time they were in the top flight. Most of the Cardiff ones won't, because that's a decade further back you have to go. Long, long time in the waiting for an opportunity like this.
It's funny, isn't it? There's a feeling around here. You feel like Blackpool are already winning, don't you? The game is 1-1. It's all square, but the way it's gone, I feel like Blackpool are winning, and everybody in the stadium probably has a similar feeling.
Southern. Vaughan. Continue to see an awful lot of the ball on Holloway's side. And they do have it. One of the rare occasions they misuse it. Well, legend is an overused term in modern football, but it certainly applies to that man, Jimmy Armfield. Mr. Blackpool, spent his whole career at the club.
He's a legend.
Club and country. And in the 1962 World Cup for England, of course, and involved in 1966 as well, although not in the side. He helped choose England managers more recently. Terry Venables and Glenn Hoddle, his appointments. So he doesn't usually get emotional about football, but today might just be one of those exceptions.
Just looking, you know, the centre half was on the left wing there, just making his way back. But...
And here is the fullback, Seamus Coleman. Three teammates in the middle. Tries the mazy run himself, the confident man from Donegal. In by Southern, out by Hudson. Baptiste strides forward. He just split second quicker to everything at the moment, Blackpool.
They are. Dave Jones must be looking on a little bit concerned at the moment. I have to say, very, very rare that he would see his team dominated in terms of possession, the way they've been dominated in the opening 25 minutes here.
They've had an element of Jekyll and Hyde about them all season, haven't they? Case in point, one match just around Christmas time, 4-0 up away against now relegated Peterborough at half-time. It finished 4-4.
They are capable of that. It shows you the good side of them and the bad side. They just need to get their foot on the ball. They haven't been able to string 2 or 3 passes together, probably since the goal.
Talked earlier about the contrast in systems. Ian Holloway's prevailing just now, but they've looked dangerous on a couple of occasions when they have staged the break. Cardiff, Chopra scoring and hitting the woodwork, and they have a corner here.
Well, at last, a little bit of something for the Cardiff supporters to cheer. Set pieces, always, as we've seen already, represent an opportunity to score.
Well, they'll miss Jay Bothroyd in situations like this. Whittingham takes, defended solidly at the near post by Craney. Slight nervous hush for once from the Blackpool supporters in the sunshine behind Matt Gilks' goal. But there to offer himself for the short one. Now Whittingham for the angle, driven, swerving wickedly away from goal.
Well, I can tell you all that is a shot. Make no mistake about that. Cuts across it, gets it horribly wrong, but he's entitled, isn't he, in the goal-scoring form he is in, to have a little go. It's not his best effort.
He scored in his last 3 games, Peter Whittingham. 6 in his last 11, 25 all season. Chopra. Adam finds DJ Campbell. Hat-trick hero in that playoff semi-final. A historic night, really, for Blackpool at Nottingham City Ground. Adam.
Keeps trying that diagonal ball, doesn't he, Charlie Adam? They've obviously identified that as an area that they can exploit over the head of Mark Kennedy.
Chopra, a substitute at Tuhu, rather incidentally of Fulham's Dixon. Chopra in the box. Well, he's finding space, Chopra.
Yeah. Well, again, I can only repeat what I'm saying before. Watch his movement. He is so clever. He's not interested, look, and then all of a sudden he sprints and he calls for that diagonal ball. It's put to him on a plate, isn't it? It's a great ball in. He just doesn't get the kind of contact that he's capable of. It's a really difficult skill, ball coming over your shoulder. He just gets it wrong, doesn't get the connection he's looking for. But it's great movement again, and while they've got Chopra, they've got a chance, Cardiff.
Craney missed out on the playoff final. He was a Leeds United player, got sent off in the semi-final and was suspended for their defeat against Watford in Cardiff.
started well, hasn't it? We've had 7 attempts already in this match. And the 2 that have hit the target, they're the 2 goals. Hope there's plenty more attempts to come. You would imagine there will be.
We have here today 4th against 6th in the championship placings over the course of the season. Just a little bit of a jinx over 4th place, occupied by Cardiff. The last 5 sides who finished 4th and reached the final have all lost, including Bristol City and West Bromwich Albion recently here over the last 3 years. Good purposeful run this by Gary Taylor-Fletcher. Kennedy stuck with him. Well, he's one of the experienced heads that I'm sure will have been sharing those experiences in the build-up to the game. Scored for Wolves that early goal to give them that early lead in the player final we were talking about earlier on. They got the better of Sheffield United.
Half an hour gone, it's absolutely flown by, hasn't it?
And even on those chilly evenings with the wind whistling around Bloomfield Road coming in off the North Sea via the Blackpool Tower, there have been question marks over the way that Blackpool play and whether it's sustainable for 90 minutes, and that'll be even more so the case in the Wembley Heat here.
We're certainly going to find out, that is for sure.
McPhail, Ledley, clipped by Charlie Adam and left in a heap. Oh, what a day of football it is for you. Just mark your card. The Champions League final is live on Sky Sports tonight. Sky Sports HD 1 and 1, also available in 3D in selected pubs. Bayern Munich and Inter Milan both looking to complete trebles. Kennedy seeking Whittingham.
It's just going through its first quiet phase, isn't it, the game, really? Quiet little couple of minutes. Maybe the players just catching their breath a little bit because it was an opening, whirlwind opening half an hour.
You would expect goals. We got 3 of the top 8 championship goal scorers over the season on show here this afternoon. Whittingham joint top with Maynard at 20, Chopra and Adam as well, 16 league goals.
We've got 7 players out there that are in double figures. Many games of football where you get that, I can assure you.
Everty set off forward again. Craney. It's a wonderful run, a wonderful momentum that Blackpool were able to get into the playoffs. They had a very jittery spell back in March when it looked like they'd miss out. They were 4 points off the playoff places, back in 9th position. But then they were able to turn it round. In fact, one of the real turning points was when they walloped Welsh opposition, the side they eventually picked for the playoffs, Swansea, 5-1. That seemed to give them the belief to push on and get to where they are here.
No doubt about that. They certainly do possess belief. And it is a massive ingredient of any successful team.
Cardiff more driven by the heart of last season when they fell away at the end of it. Missed out on the playoffs, some goal difference, solitary goal to Preston, a side that had given them a beating on the run-in last season. It's certainly, undoubtedly been a motivating factor for them. Charlie Adam trying to get his head up and whip a ball in, which is parried away as far as Abbott.
Well, everybody's behind the ball except Chopra for Cardiff.
In by Craney, DJ Campbell, still DJ Campbell. Any way to get it out will do, and Hudson smuggles it behind.
Well, for the first time, he lost his footing, didn't he? It's the first time I've noticed a player losing his footing.
What can Blackpool make of their first corner? There's just about 10 minutes of this first half remaining. Vaughan to deliver. Well defended. In goes McPhail, and out come Cardiff, a chance for them to counter here. Chopra. Plenty back for Blackpool, but Whittingham on the move on the far side. Chopra with an excellent ball to pick him out, although he's forced wide. No one getting in the middle, though, noticeably for Cardiff. Chopra's here. Flick from Ledley. Chopra. And challenge goes behind. Corner kick, Cardiff.
Well, I'm going to criticise Kelvin Atuhu here because he had loads of opportunity twice to get himself in the box. But look, look at Kelvin Atuhu walking into the penalty area. And look his reaction when Chopra gets to the byline. He doesn't actually make any kind of a move. And that is not a natural goal scorer. Got to do better than that. Worked the ball really well into a dangerous area, didn't they, there, Cardiff? Wonder maybe
the curse of the striker isn't hitting again. Kelvin Atuhu, who's come on for the stricken Bothroyd. Look at that, roasting, absolutely roasting down there on the Wembley pitch.
That's what makes it all the more remarkable of the performance so far, particularly by Blackpool.
It looks like he's got a nosebleed. So temporary running repairs on Kelvin Atuhu. He'll take this corner with 10 on the field. Burke with the signal and the delivery. He's gone deep, seeking Chopra. Back in by McPhail. That's Adamant. Craney. Southern tried to touch it beyond Michael Chopra. Still off for Cardiff, Kelvin Atuhu. Ledley, Whittingham. Ledley's with a bursting run in behind. Joe Ledley! Super goal! Cardiff back in the lead. And Joe Ledley just loves playing at Wembley.
Well, he's been on the periphery, hasn't he? Let's not kid ourselves. He's hardly been able to get in the game. It's been a rearguard action by Cardiff City. But you know what? Look at the scoreline. It's 2-1 to Cardiff, and this is the reason why. He's really sharp when he lays that off. Look at the run he makes, such desire, such determination, and he isn't trapped, and he stays calm, and he stays composed when he gets himself into that area. Many a player would have panicked there, but not Joe Ledley. He knows exactly what he's got to do. The goalkeeper closes and narrows the angle, but he spots the gap, and he finds the gap to absolute perfection. And Cardiff, well, they've got the noses back in front.
Cardiff born, Cardiff red, Cardiff lead, courtesy of Joe Ledley, the player you might remember who scored the winning goal here against Barnsley in an FA Cup semi-final a couple of seasons ago. No doubt they had to ride a storm, Don, but they've come through the other side now.
Well, they have, but what they will know is that Blackpool will keep coming at them. They will keep coming and keep asking questions. Long way to go for Cardiff before they're over that line.
All we do know is that the series of 1-1 games between the sides this season is now over. No one able to make up the ground and get in the middle there. David Marshall frantically trying to reorganise the Cardiff City defence.
Meagre supply of goals in our last 3 championship playoff finals, haven't we? Just the 3.
We've matched it already.
We've matched it already. And we knew we would, didn't we?
Well, he's delivered on most things he's promised Ian Holloway this season, hasn't he? Looking at his press conference back when he took over as Blackpool manager, said task number 1 was to improve on last season's position. Task number 2, well, to dream and try and fulfil those dreams, and they're certainly moving towards that. They need to score again here, and they very nearly do. Back off the post.
Wow. May well hold his head, Gary Taylor-Fletcher. Again, it's beautifully worked, isn't it? Round the corner, chested back, and he strikes it lovely. The only thing from him, as his point of view, is it's always curling away from goal. Look, and it's the curl on the ball that just takes it away from that net.
They've responded once, and they're going the right way about responding again. Marshall not getting enough on it. Flicked by DJ Campbell. Blocked on the line, but bundled in. Gary Taylor-Fletcher denied by the woodwork, but not denied. Second time of asking. They've responded again.
Oh, didn't I tell you they'd keep coming and coming and coming? Didn't I tell you there was a long way to go before Cardiff were up? This is precisely why. Because Blackpool have got this never-say-die attitude. And the problems for Cardiff is they don't deal with a high ball in. They don't defend it well. It gets stuck. Campbell does well. Marshall gets a hand on it. Everett swings it goalwards. And who's alert? Watch Gary Taylor-Fletcher. He's alert. He's on his toes. He's looking for the bits there. And as that bobs up, he's brave, you know. He already got a big cut in the semi-final. He cut his head. And he's willing to take a blow to the head to draw Blackpool level, and he gets his just rewards.
Well, it's a wonderful story that is unfolding here in North London this afternoon. We've still got at least 45 minutes of this to go. There's around 4 minutes between the initial Cardiff goal and the Blackpool equaliser, just under 3 minutes between the two sides' second efforts. And we haven't finished yet for this first half. Seamus Coleman, Southern, Adam, nonchalant flick forward.
Oh, it's breathtaking, isn't it? Absolutely breathtaking game of football. Two teams desperate for the promised land of the Premier League. And they only know one way about getting there, don't they? Brilliant.
Life-changing was an expression that was used again and again and again by both managers. It's developing into a life-enhancing playoff final. Wonderful football on show here at the National Stadium today.
We're so proud of his boys. We saw him bursting with pride at the City Ground, didn't we? All Dave Jones can do on the other side is standing with his hands on his hips. He probably can't believe it. His team haven't been able to hold on to their lead long enough.
DJ Campbell. Charlie Allen puts his arms up. He acknowledges that no one was going to get on the end of that.
Looks frustrated, doesn't he? Looks a little bit frustrated. He may well be. As things stand, even though the scores are level, Jones's team have been distinctly second best in the opening half.
Having got themselves into leading positions, the failure to hold on twice, that'll always anger a manager. Peter Ridsdale, the departing chairman, the Malaysian consortium to his right, those who will be taking over at Cardiff City next week. TG, he's known as the man behind the money. DJ Campbell will not be able to keep that one in.
There's some statistic about Blackpool scoring most of their goals in the second half of football matches as well. Two-thirds.
That's absolutely right. On that basis, we ain't seen nothing yet.
Cardiff beware.
I suppose over the big picture, given the way that this first half has gone in terms of performance, Cardiff will be relatively pleased to go in level.
Well, there should be, but I suspect that Dave Jones is going to be, shall we say, raising his voice a little bit at half-time, because they haven't been able to get the ball down and past it the way that they can. You've got to give Blackpool credit for that, who have closed them down, denied them space, and yet still managed to find time to play their own football.
DJ Campbell. And here comes Taylor Fletcher. Trying to spin it in behind for Brett Ormerod. Able to get on the ball. Reinforcements have arrived for the men in Tangerine. Now Vaughan. Cardiff have reorganised defensively. Into 2 minutes of added time. Here comes Coleman. DJ Campbell. Oh, it might open up here for DJ Campbell. He lost his footing at the important moment. Ormerod! For the first time, Blackpool are in front, and it's the old boy Brett Ormerod.
Well, this isn't easy, you know. He reacts. There's a couple of people that slip in this melee, and DJ Campbell is certainly one of them. Plays a massive part in this, DJ Campbell, and at the vital moment he slips and he may feel that his chance has gone, but he's involved there. Look, he breaks for him, nice little skill, and just as he's about to shoot he loses his footing. But Brett Ormerod is really alert, and the most impressive thing about this from Brett Ormerod is he knows he's got to keep the ball low, he's got to keep it down on the ground, and I think it goes through the goalkeeper's legs, and when you keep the ball down you've got every chance of that happening, and that's precisely what happens, and it's great awareness from a very experienced striker.
9 years ago, he scored a goal in a playoff final to get Blackpool out of the bottom division. As it stands, that is the goal to take them into the top division. What a half of football we have had.
Well, they've been asked questions, haven't they? Twice they've gone behind. Twice they've answered the questions, and 3 times they've answered it. Now they're in front, and the questions are all going to be asked of Cardiff City. Can they respond? Can they show the resilience that Blackpool have had to show? Not once, but twice.
Blackpool have made a habit of striking back almost straight away. This is the opportunity here as Whittingham whips it in. Flag has gone up, it won't count. He thought he got it, Darcy Blake, but the flag was up very quickly.
Oh, big moments in matches. Great ball in, and he is, look, you know, he's ahead of the play. The only question, I guess, really is, does that come off Mark Hudson, or does it come off a Blackpool defender? It looks like it's the Cardiff centre-half, and therefore he is offside. Fine margins, isn't it? Yep, it's a flick on by the skipper. And it is a great decision by the assistant referee.
Adam Watts, the assistant on this near side. Well, it started with a bang and it finished with a bang. Brett Ormerod's goal, the dividing factor at the break. A half where twice they fell behind and twice they hit back. Chopra started it off. Adam responded with a moment of brilliance from a free kick. Then Joe Ledley scoring at Wembley again. Gary Taylor-Fletcher from close range. And Brett Ormerod, breathless, simply breathless. Blackpool 3, Cardiff 2.
3 goals in our previous 3 finals. And for the first time in a Championship playoff final, we have 5 goals in one half. Incredible. Steve Coppell, Clark Carlisle and Peter Bigrey have witnessed it. Their thoughts in just a moment. Twice, Blackpool trailed to Cardiff. Twice they got level. And now they lead. Day of the year here at Wembley, and it is raining goals. 3-2 Blackpool lead against Cardiff. Match commentators Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Well, they say this match is worth £1 million a minute. It's been value for money so far, hasn't it? Blackpool 3, Cardiff 2. Brett Ormerod, in a way, if you like, cast in the Dean Windass role, in that it all started off for him, really, his footballing career at Blackpool. He's in the second coming, and he's scored an all-important Wembley goal. And Ormerod involved in an early flashpoint in this second half. Cardiff, who had their early injury problems in the match. Let's not forget they lost Jay Bothroyd effectively within the first 5 minutes, although he soldiered on for a bit longer. They can ill afford any more.
Oh, and you can see, I think we've all seen how much they've missed Jay Bothroyd. This is Kevin McNaughton, isn't it? And just kicks him, doesn't he? He's trying to get to the ball, Brett Ormerod. He kicks up the back on the calf, so that might be a painful one. More of a dead leg, hopefully, that he can run off. It's the last thing that Cardiff need now, isn't it?
Well, Cardiff, who came here as the dreamers from South Wales, who very much felt that they had the hand of history on their shoulder. Dave Jones saying he felt they weren't just representing a club, but representing a nation as well. Wales have never had any representatives in the Premier League. Cardiff, the great hopes after Swansea just narrowly missed out to Blackpool in getting into the playoffs. Not since Swansea were relegated back in 1993. Has there been 1983, I should say, has there been any representation at the top table from Wales? McPhail. Chopra has been the standout performer so far. Finds only the roof of the net there.
Well, the encouraging thing is at least there were 3 bodies for him to aim at in the 18-yard box, and there has to be now. They find themselves behind. He's just trying to whip his foot around this and bend it in. Doesn't get the execution right, but positive sign.
Well, this year has been a poke in the eye for those who say that the playoff format does not work and that it produces tight, tense, turgid contests. 41 goals so far in 12.5 playoff matches. 2 more finals to come for you live next weekend, of course, from Wembley, here with us on Sky Sports. Still plenty to go here this afternoon as well. Largely made up of players who want to test themselves at the top level, have never had tastes of it, largely spent their times either in Scottish football in the case of Charlie Adam or in the lower leagues of English football. Norton goes back, Scottish international, to his compatriot in goal. Cardiff has more of a sprinkling of players who've had a little bite at it and want to have another go, the likes of Stephen McPhail. Whittingham also comes into that band. Here he is now, trying to drop it in for a Tuhu to exploit that undoubted pace he has. He seeks Chopra, narrowly fails to find him.
Well, that's his first real involvement, isn't it, Kelvin Atuhu, and he used his pace. It's a good use there. He gets in behind and he's looking to wrap that foot around it again. Chopra, you can see, in a good position. He's just unable to get that delivery right. That's a couple of occasions now that in the opening exchange of the second half, Cardiff has been in the final third of Blackpool. Just need a bit better quality on those crosses.
Taylor Fletcher. Norton there. Right man in the right place at the right time for Cardiff City. Another player loses their footing, Charlie Adam, and in regaining it, he blocks off McPhail. It's a wonderful story that Stephen McPhail is even here, win or lose today. Looked like his footballing career was going to come to an end earlier on this season when he was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Only a couple of months since he had his last radiotherapy treatment, but here he is out in the blazing sun in North London, trying to help Cardiff do what they haven't had to do in this match so far, and that is come from behind. Twice they led, twice they were pegged back, and just before half-time, Blackpool got their noses in front. Whittingham didn't quite get his trajectory right there.
I think Blackpool have got a problem of their own up front. Gary Taylor Fletcher's just hobbling a little bit. They have a problem.
Gets a little glance on there, straight to McNaughton. Now Burke hasn't really been able to get into the game yet, the elfin Scottish winger. And here is Taylor Fletcher, DJ Campbell to his left. Still going, Campbell, blocked away. The Blackpool supporters to a man appeal for handball. It's not going to be given.
What an opportunity that was for Blackpool to extend their lead. It was a poor ball by Gary Taylor-Fletcher. I wonder how much of a part his injury played in that. It needed to be better, needed to be further in front of DJ Campbell.
Who couldn't hold it. Here's Craney. Everett. Hudson's header. Southern doing everything he could to get there, and he's caught a fair bit of McNaughton, who's still down.
He's in the wars, isn't he? Kevin McNaughton, the second time, takes a hefty blow. Keith Southern this time closes in, and a bit innocuous, wasn't it?
Well, if Keith Southern is one of the unsung heroes for his club, and you could certainly put Kevin McNaughton in the same category for Cardiff City, very much a Mr. Dependable. Well, here comes that change momentarily. Ormerod hooks it on. Taylor-Fletcher, the man who will shortly depart. He will depart with a Wembley goal to his name in a Championship playoff final. Not too many in that exclusive club. Vaughan. As well as the 5 goals we've had, let's not forget both sides have grappled the woodwork as well. And Burgess, another one of the players remaining from that playoff final here, where Simon Grayson's Blackpool got the better of Yeovil to come up to the Championship. He was an unused substitute.
He's really struggling now, isn't he? Brave as a lion, sticking his head in to get the glory. And he got what he deserved, Gary Taylor-Fletcher, but it's another striker who's going to have to watch from the side. Just say one or two little prayers. Hope that his team prevail.
Gary Taylor-Fletcher leaves injured. Something that Ben Burgess throughout his career has had to do time and time again. He's on here.
It's a different proposition, isn't he? And when I look back to the second leg, the semi-final, and the problems that Stephen Howard gave that Cardiff City central defensive duo, I just wonder whether Blackpool may be tempted to hit that ball high and early up towards Ben Burgess.
That too stood well. Just look for a second, a split second, like a two who might be able to get round the back. Hudson forward. So too Charlie Adam for Blackpool.
Still, it looks as if Blackpool are just half a yard quicker to the ball each time, particularly in the critical areas of the pitch.
Away. Just couldn't get the touch. Here's Charlie Adam.
It's a shot. And why not? Has he got 19 already? I think we'll forgive him that one.
Well, the one he struck earlier, the free kick to respond to the Chopra opener, was so special. He's bought himself the right, even on the day, to have a go from the halfway line.
Well, Cardiff just need a little bit more. See, Chris Burke and Peter Whittingham have swapped sides. Burke now on the left, Whittingham on the right. They need more from those two lads, more from Kelvin Atuhu, if they're going to get themselves back into this tie.
In case a few of you are wondering why you may be seeing some empty seats around Wembley, almost every ticket here available to be sold by the Football League has been sold. There are sections due to the hospitality arrangements here aren't available for use on playoff finals.
Load of nonsense, isn't it? This game deserves a full stadium. Every seat should be filled.
And Blackpool, who Scunthorpe aside, have the lowest attendance averagely in the Coca-Cola Championship. Cardiff have pretty much doubled their attendance since moving to their new stadium, roughly 20,000. It was significantly more than their usual gait, mobilised to try and cheer them to the riches of the Barclays Premier League, the riches on the field and the riches off the field, to rub shoulders with the best. You almost forget the stakes given the freedom with which Blackpool have played today.
We shouldn't be surprised, you know, we saw them against Nottingham Forest, didn't we, in both legs, play with freedom, real freedom. The only time we saw them a little bit uptight was the final day of the season when they needed to win to guarantee themselves a playoff place. A little bit edgy that particular day, but as it goes, obviously Swansea weren't able to take advantage of the fact that Blackpool drew. But from there on in, they've been simply sensational.
Well, Burgess won the header, McNaughton back on the cover. It was probably the first time this season, in a way, that they've been cast in the role of favourites. Sixth place on the final day. It was theirs to lose. This is just a bonus. And goodness me, have they enjoyed themselves over the two semi-finals against Nottingham Forest and so far here today. That's Burke. No offside flag here against Chopra! Crossbar! Well, it deserved better. It was beautifully struck from Chopra.
Well, here's the one player in the blue shirts of Cardiff that is standing out like a Belisha beacon, isn't he? Michael Chopra is offside there, and then he comes back and he times his run to perfection. He does everything right, and he strikes it beautifully, doesn't he? The goalkeeper, Michael Gilks, is absolutely beaten all ends up. And that's just a little warning to Blackpool.
Chris Burke departs the scene, and Ross McCormack, who blazed a goal-scoring trail for Cardiff City last season. Only Wolves' Sylvan Ebanks-Blake scored more goals in this division than him last year. Hasn't quite managed the same this year, largely because of the Chopra-Bothroyd partnership. He's been playing out wide. Looks as if Eswara will be asked to start off here. Chopra going a little early this time, and up going the offside flag. Dave Bryant, the assistant, on the dugout side of Wembley.
Well, they need the supporters now, don't they, Cardiff? You know, they've been a little bit flat for large parts of this game. And the supporters get behind them, galvanise them, just give them the energy to get themselves back into this game.
Ormerod. Burgess is in space in the box. Back it comes to Vaughan. Three in the middle here. Adam outside, but Adam wide.
That's a very difficult skill. When a ball is rolled square to you and you're going to hit it with the nearest foot to the ball, in Charlie Adams' case, his left. Everything has to be absolutely perfect. Very difficult skill, and he doesn't get it quite right.
Of the last 6 Championship playoff finals, 1-0. 5 goals in the first half here. And Cardiff seek another one, the first of the second. Chopra.
He's got the corner. He's looked lively, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And I think the hopes of Cardiff pretty much pinning on him. Needs a bit more help than he's getting at the moment.
Comes Hudson. So too Darcy Blake, who had that offside goal ruled out in the first half. Whipped in by Whittingham, and glanced just wide. Half of Wembley thought that was going in after it came off the head of Ledley.
Well, or just needs a bit more of a contact, doesn't he? He beats Matt Gilks in the goal, and it's oh so close, isn't it? Super ball in, whipped with pace, attacks it so well, Joe Ledley. And that's twice now in a short space of time that Cardiff have been oh so unlucky.
Well, he doesn't usually play much more than an hour. He gives everything for those 60 minutes. And at the moment, he is the scorer of the goal that means everything. Stephen Dobby, his replacement, on loan from Swansea City, would you believe it? Half an hour he has a go against Cardiff. On by Burgess. That's the other element they've got in their game now with Burgess. This is Southern!
Well, it's shots in, isn't it? That's what it's turning into, and it's brilliant. Well, we keep speaking about Charlie Adam being the one to break forward, but we mentioned earlier, Keith Southern does it. Look at his burst from midfield. Gets the ball under control. Gets a really good strike at it. And it's always rising. Lots of power, but always rising. Well, an hour gone. All those attempts. It's been absolutely brilliant. Blackpool leading the way. And so far, warranting their lead.
And remember, as Tom touched on earlier, this is a Blackpool side who tend to save the majority of their goals for the second half. 93 they've scored now in all competitions this season. 59 of those have come in the second period. It's Cardiff who've come the closest so far. In this second half through Chopra, McPhail, Ledley, just starting to get things moving here. Through to Michael Chopra, back in by Whittingham, Baptiste away.
Great football, but they just got the ball stuck under their feet a couple of times in that little move. Just worked against them, but at last they've given their supporters something to get their teeth into. They're just starting to ask questions, Cardiff City.
Now goes Charlie Adam, advantage play, can Burgess take it, loses out to Hudson. Now Southern. Charlie Adam. Sweeping ball looking for DJ Campbell. Kennedy. Still work to do, and Hudson puts it behind for a corner.
Well, he had all the time in the world. I think David Marshall was telling him time, but it's a cheap one to give away, isn't it? Headed up in the air by Kennedy. It's a simple header back. You can see the frustration in David Marshall's face.
When you have a baying mob of 40,000 tangerine-clad supporters behind your goal, those messages can get lost.
This is true.
Adams corner, Everts across there. Quite at the stage of the match where Blackpool can start to contemplate what awaits them if the scoreline stays like this. Or quite at the stage of the match where Cardiff start to get that sinking feeling that they can't shake off. But the seconds inexorably tick on.
He clearly saw the instruction to Michael Chopra there.
McPhail looks badly hurt here as Cardiff continue their build-up. Whittingham, here's a two-who into the box and forces the save from Gilks.
Well, it bobbled, you know, just as he was about to strike it. Bobbled up, and that affected the height of the shot. This is how Stephen McPhail gets hurt. Goes in with Keith Southern, who lands on top of him, but as this ball's rolled full, watch for the bobble, just as he's about to strike it. And that's why it goes high. It may have caused Matt Gilks more problems if it had been lower. Full-blooded tackle, wasn't it? Keith Southern up in the air, and he comes down, he lands heavily on Stephen McPhail.
I mentioned earlier on the emotional roller coaster, the physical roller coaster that Stephen McPhail has had to undergo this season with the treatment for cancer. Is this to be the end of his playoff final? Is Dave Jones, for the second time in the match, going to be forced into making a change because of injury to a key player, one with Premier League experience?
Well, when you're holding your knee like that, I would now suspect that that is as a result of that block tackle. May have just opened his foot up, may have tweaked the medial ligaments. We're hoping he can get through that.
He won't be involved in this Cardiff corner. There are plenty who will. Hudson and Blake, McCormack and Ledley, two who won it with his run and shot. And let's not forget a man who is almost single-handedly carrying the Cardiff goal threat, Michael Chopra.
He's asked for 1 minute, Stephen McPhail, 1 minute to see how he gets on. It's not looking overly promising from where I'm standing, if I'm honest.
Whittingham with the Cardiff corner. Decent head away. Atuhu's there first. Now Ross McCormack. Still down to 10 Cardiff with McPhail off the field. The fresh legs of Ross McCormack getting inside Coleman. Not getting his shot quite as he wanted it though.
It's a positive run though, isn't it? Getting the ball onto that right foot. We've seen seasons past. We've got the ability to strike them in, Ross McCormack, from there.
It does not look like a player who is moving well, Stephen McPhail. Vaughan. On by Evatt. Burgess to DJ Campbell, who holds it up well. Blackpool reinforcements arrive. Look at that run from Craney. Here he is now, Craney. Away by McNaughton. Curious touch by Atuhu. Thundered away by McNaughton, which is maybe what it needed a moment earlier. Seamus Coleman, who just signed a new deal with Everton, comes forward. This will be his swan song for Blackpool, whatever happens. Craney now. And we're going to see another little Blackpool burst, the like of which blew away Cardiff towards the end of that first half. Header from Burgess, flag goes up.
I think he just went just a fraction too soon, Ben Burgess. You can see there he's ahead of the last defender, literally inches. It's another good decision by the assistant. I think the officials have been first class here this afternoon.
Cardiff with their best finish for 39 years. Blackpool with their best finish for 33 years. Only one can turn that into a first season of Premier League football at the moment, with just about a quarter of this playoff final remaining. It is Blackpool's. Blackpool in the Premier League. Fanciful. Perhaps no one apart from him, maybe not even he, really believed it could happen. And they're just over 20 minutes away from it becoming a tangerine-tinted reality.
Ian Holloway has seen enough in the second half. Rattle the crossbar, another good opportunity. He's seen enough from Cardiff to know, while that lead remains so slender, Cardiff still very, very much in this.
Here's Dobby, finds Burgess. Nearly got it through to DJ Campbell. Had he, well, you would have banked on Blackpool extending their lead. They're still going at it hammer and tongs, aren't they, despite the sweltering conditions down there.
Well, we're just coming into the period of the game where that thermometer might signify some tired bodies. It might lead to lapses of concentration, might lead to mistakes.
Chopra. Adam. The two men who started it all off with that two-goal burst in the space of 4 minutes in the first half. Now Seamus Coleman. Tried to touch it around Kennedy, but failed to execute the move. The header from Baptiste. Dobby, one of the City ground scorers. Adam. And Craney. Vaughan collects. Coleman just inches forward down the Blackpool right. This is DJ Campbell. Keith Southern now. Just got caught up under his feet. Ledley and Cardiff had it back.
That's where they haven't been good today, you know, in their passing, Cardiff City. Very, very loose by their own very high standards.
Well, more of the same, please, is the message for next weekend to those involved in the League One playoff. Millwall against Swindon next Saturday, 2:30, Sky Sports HD2 and 2. And on Sunday, Dagenham and Redbridge against Rotherham. 2:30, same channels. Both sides having made 2 substitutions. Under 20 minutes to go now. 1 remaining for both Ian Holloway and Dave Jones. Good footballing friends. Cast for the course of the piece today as footballing foes. One will reset their trajectories for the likes of Old Trafford and Anfield next season. The other, it'll be a same old story. Whittingham. Chopra appealing for something he's not going to get.
Well, I felt he was blocked out, didn't he, by Stephen Craney as the ball comes through. The left-back runs right across his line. I don't think for a second that Chopra's ever going to get on the end of that. It's a dangerous game to play from Stephen Craney. Some officials may well give little free kicks for that.
Just eluded the leap of DJ Campbell. Would have been a Cardiff fan for the night in that playoff semi-final. Had Leicester got here, he wouldn't have been able to play against them, of course, on loan from his parent club. Kennedy feeds Whittingham. Back to Mark Kennedy. Charlie Adam back there in the back line, just content to sweep it out with his wrong foot, if you like. Chopra. In by Kennedy, out by Evans. McPhail's not going to last too much longer out there, I don't think. Cardiff ready his replacement. Here's Coleman. Campbell. Adam. Lovely reverse ball to Coleman. DJ Campbell wants it played early. The pass is picked here for Dobby.
Well, those are the gaps that I was talking about. As players get tidy, there was a lot of space out there on that left-hand side, and Blackpool worked it really well. Cardiff having to work overtime to get back and get the block in there.
Well, there's another injury to disrupt Dave Jones's thinking here. Kevin McNaughton is going to have to come off. He's picked up an injury. He can't continue. And Anthony Gerrard, who would have hoped to have been in the starting lineup, but for a late season injury which ruled him out of the playoffs, but he's in the thick of it here, and they'll need him as well as Blackpool press. Cardiff clear. Well, they've got a half-fit McPhail out there as well, and they need to score, and time is starting to run out, and Blackpool continue to push. Charlie Adam.
Well, Calvin Atuhu did really well to put Charlie Adam under so much pressure there, because it was opening up, and that's the other side of the job that strikers don't like. But he doesn't give up, does he? Atuhu. You think that Charlie Adam's away from him, but he just puts enough pressure on him to force the Blackpool skipper to get that wrong.
Blackpool closing in on the playoff set, promoted from both other tiers via this route that's so wonderful for the winners, so painful, so empty for the losers. 2 years ago they beat Yeovil here under Simon Grayson, in Cardiff under Steve McMahon when Brett Ormerod scored. They beat Leyton Orient. Now it's Cardiff who become their latest scalp. Will do unless they can find a goal from somewhere, from anywhere, with quarter of an hour remaining here at Wembley. All the scoring done in the first half. All the meaning about what happens in the remainder of this second now.
He'll keep urging them on, won't he? Encouraging them. And so will he. He knows they are oh so close to the Premier League.
He talked about the desolation, didn't he, when he was talking to Greg Whelan before the match about failing to motivate the group of players at Leicester to achieve survival in the Championship. A feeling that he doesn't think he'll ever get over. Well, he's certainly got this band of brothers moving together, marching together, closing in on the Premier League. It seemed impossible, it seemed improbable, it still is hardly believable, and Cardiff still have time to do something about it. Oh, it's spilled by Gilks.
Well, he's a lucky boy, make no mistake. He's asking the referee for a free kick It's not given, and that makes Matthew Gilks a very lucky boy. That's not a great ball in. And Chopra simply jumps with him. He looks, doesn't he? It's clever from Chopra, but I don't think it's a foul. He just gets his body in a place where the goalkeeper can't.
Won't help the nerves at the back. That will. That was strong at the near post from Everett. McPhail seeking Chopra. Baptiste's got his head to it. This is Ross McCormack, and that is into the side netting.
He's asking for a corner. It may be more in hope than expectation. Cardiff now resorting to the high ball in, gets it onto that right foot and just pulls it. There's no touch, there's no deflection. He just pulls it. He comes under a bit of pressure and pulls it away from that near post.
They have waited an awfully long time for this, Blackpool and their supporters. As you can tell by the increasing decibel levels coming from the sun-bathed end of the stadium to our right-hand side. Believing to think, daring to start to believe, to think that this might just be happening for them. They're not there yet, though, not by a long shot. The players, for one, can't start to believe they're there. Whittingham, Baptiste, first on the scene when he needed to be. Here's Vaughan. Closed out by Ledley.
It's now Blackpool, probably for the first time in the match. They're playing a rearguard action. Maybe, just maybe, trying to hang on to what they have.
Ledley. Hoisted high by Darcy Blake. Cardiff fans, of course, would appeal that Ross McCormack was caught in the Blackpool sandwich unfairly. Just starting to see more of the ball, though, Cardiff, as Blackpool back off. McCormack, chip forward by Ledley, away by Craney, not where he meant it to go either. Ross McCormack. Chopra was there, but so too was Craney, and now Charlie Adam. A cool, calm influence needed on the ball, and Adam provides that as he just gets it out of the danger area and allows his side to breathe deep, settle themselves, steady the nerves.
A little bit ragged for the first time in the game, Blackpool, not retaining possession, not keeping their three boys up front. You can understand that part of it. Is it unnatural? Is it an unnatural thing that they are trying to do, or a Cardiff City simply forcing them back?
We mentioned earlier on about the Ian Holloway effect, and he's allowed those sort of t-shirts to be printed. Last time they went up, incidentally, they relegated Preston at the same time from the second tier. That's not going to happen, but they're close to leaving them behind.
It's gamble time now, isn't it, for Cardiff? They will take many, many risks to try and force the equaliser here, and they have got a good record of scoring goals in the last 10 minutes. A really good record, in fact.
Everett got his head to that. Helped on by Dobby. We mentioned earlier, Don, about that last game at home against Bristol City when they were expected to see the job through. That's when they looked nervy. Well, now they're 10 minutes away. They have that goal advantage. It's theirs to lose. And for the first time, they look a bit nervy. This is an excellent run, but the shot straight at Matt Gilks. Darcy Blake denied.
It's a shame. It was a super run, wasn't it? Probably found himself in a position that he doesn't find himself very often. He chose to pull the trigger. Other options beside him, notably Chopra, wanting him to square that ball.
of their goals today delivered by Welsh stock in Joe Ledley, the one that gave Cardiff the lead for the second time in the match. Darcy Blake, the 21-year-old from Caerphilly, unable to add to his compatriot.
It's one-way traffic now. Almost role reversal. That first half.
McPhail. In the last 10 minutes, Cardiff starting to find their feet, find their form. Kennedy not finding a blue shirt, glanced away by Baptiste. Have they left it too late though? And Blackpool withstand this late Welsh rally. Coleman. Campbell. Coolness from Coleman. He showed on the big stage when playing for Everton in the Premier League this season that he has all the ingredients to be a player man of the match. You might remember against Tottenham.
"15 goals Cardiff have found in the last 10 minutes of matches. What would they give for one now? You can see they are clearly forcing the issue, doing all they can to get that goal.
Well, for Cardiff, it's not just about 46 games of hard work, it's about missing out by a goal last season. One place away on goal difference from getting into the playoffs. It's about 3 years ago when they led from the start of the season pretty much to December and fell away at the end. It's all the pain they've experienced. And there's about to be more unless they can find this elusive goal. That's Whittingham. This is Adam. Certainly seemed to push Darcy Blake. Free kick awarded to Cardiff. And he's got the goals, he's got the delivery, Charlie Adam. He's also got that little bit of devilment about him as well. Rode the suspension tightrope throughout the playoff semi-finals, but he managed to do that. Here he is, he's given away this free kick though. Whittingham delivers. Now DJ Campbell. Mark Kennedy, 34 years old last week, comes across to cover.
A little bit of respite for Blackpool. Of course, Cardiff leaving 1v1. It's a dangerous game, but they have no choice now. Blackpool are going to take their time now over everything, every set piece. Rightly so.
You said how that first half hour flew by, and it would have done for Ian Holloway and Dave Jones. Seconds will seem like hours now. Certainly for Ian Holloway. But Dave Jones will be moving all too quickly. Gee, the way things have gone today, the way this one has panned out into a memorable playoff final, do not rule anything out in these closing stages.
Well, one thing I think is there will be another real good goal-scoring opportunity. Now, whether that's going to be for Cardiff or for Blackpool, we'll see.
Ian Holloway feeling they need fresh impetus. And he's going to make a change as a result of that. Here's Burgess, as you can see, not the quickest, but lumbering forward nonetheless. He's been kept busy, Baptiste. That's his reward there as Chopper tries to ease him out of the way.
Well, I wonder if Cardiff will consider sending one of their big centre-halves up front now, you know, because the ball's up to Chopra like that, and a Tuhu and Ross McCormack. They're not going to have any impact on Ian Evatt or Alex Baptiste at the heart of that defence. I think I can see Anthony Gerrard there in the middle of your screen. He's going to go up front. Dave Jones. Did he hear me?
Well, his cousin Stephen rescued a seamlessly lost cause in the FA Cup final against West Ham in Cardiff, didn't it? That was a classic final. And cousin Tony pick up where Stevie left off.
Well, And the minute he's gone up front, he's had to come back now to defend this. I don't think he's sure whether he should or not. Cardiff are going to leave 3 players up. Hope that they can defend this and break out.
And the aerial threat of Burgess, Everett up as well. DJ Campbell, the closest seasider to it. And it comes from Everett, blocked by Hudson. They'll take that though, Blackpool. 4 minutes remaining now. And when you've waited 40 years, that'll seem like an awfully long time. Cardiff get the free kick. Keeps Southern penalised.
Been everywhere, hasn't he, Keith Southern, for Blackpool, as he has been for many a year.
One of the things that Ian Holloway said about what he loved about Blackpool Football Club was the way that they remembered their heroes. These guys in the white and tangerine know how close they are to becoming exactly that for the club that spent so long in the wilderness, dining out on past glories of 1953, Matthews, Mortensen and Perry. The class of 2010 are so close to joining them as cult heroes of the club. Cardiff keen to get on with things, understandably. Fire it up to Gerrard, McCormack. Chopra loses his footing. Here's Gerrard, though.
Lost his chance to shoot. He had a chance to shoot, you know, Anthony Gerrard, and he refused it.
Blackpool with a chance to break. Wayward pass at a crucial time, forces DJ Campbell wide, but Cardiff not getting enough men back. DJ Campbell delaying, holding when there was a real chance to find Burgess.
Oh, Ben Burgess holding his arms in the air. He was all alone for what seemed like an eternity. And DJ, look, he's on his own in the middle. If he can just fire that across now, he's going to have a goal-scoring chance. That's a wrong decision. He may get away with it.
Seamus Coleman. Vaughan. 2 minutes plus added time away from the Premier League. Craney. Vaughan. So they curb their attacking instincts. DJ Campbell onside. Craney.
They're down to 10 men at the minute, Cardiff, and that's why they can't get the ball off Blackpool. Back on Darcy Blake. Somehow, we've got to get this ball off Blackpool, get it off them very, very quickly.
Cardiff have used all their substitutes, of course. Blackpool still have one in the bank. DJ Campbell here. Still going, DJ Campbell. Dobby across there, no chance taken, it's behind for a corner.
Well, while the ball's up there, they can breathe easy, Blackpool. I think you may find they take a short one here and try and run that clock right down.
Burgess. This is exactly where Blackpool want to be, in the lead, as we move into 4 minutes of added time.
One last push. One last push.
Southern's header. Can Cardiff conjure something from what looks like being nothing? McPhail. Whittingham. Plenty of blue in the box. The man who met it was Ledley, but he didn't meet it with enough power and purpose.
It's going to take a lot more than that, isn't it? A header from 18 yards.
Campbell being dealt with by Blake, but he's not going to give it up. He's got it back, TJ Campbell. Adam comes forward. Blackpool go back to Craney. Now Adam. Here's Dobby. Keeping it in, doing well. The on-loan Swansea player. Craney just called a little late. Free kick for Cardiff. They need to get it forward. They need to get it forward quick. Still Ian Holloway waits with the one substitution he has left to make. Barry Bannon, the young midfielder on loan from Aston Villa, will come on and replace the Welshman David Vaughan. Half of the added time now negotiated. Now for the really hard bit. Marshall gives it everything he can. Hudson is forward. Dobby, Bannon, Campbell. Southern set off here.
It's not a great ball, you know. It's not a great ball.
Marshall pressurised by Bannon. Fresh legs used to full advantage. He wanted to get it long, he had to roll it out.
Well, I think he had an opportunity to kick it, but maybe tried to be a little bit too clever.
1 minute to go. Well, Hull City and Burnley went before as new names on the Premier League Roll of Honour. Blackpool, of all people, Blackpool are about to join them. Ian Holloway so close to taking a side to the Premier League. Here's Ben Burgess. He's got TJ Campbell alongside him. Well, this is it. This is it for Cardiff. They have to score now or it's over. It's another season in the Championship for them. Baptiste Towers in true Blackpool style. Gerrard. Ledley couldn't control it. Seamus Coleman slides in. McPhail, 4 minutes up. Cardiff still knocking. Coleman still perfectly positioned.
Has to go in the box.
Whittingham. Out comes Gilks.
Now listen to that roar. Listen to that roar to our right, and that's the reason why.
40 years since Blackpool were last promoted to the top flight, and they have done it again. Blackpool are in the Premier League, and there are many inhabitants of that town that never thought they would hear that. They started the season among the relegation favourites. They finished the season rubbing shoulders with Arsenal, with Manchester United, with Chelsea, Liverpool and all. The Golden Mile transformed into the Golden Smile. Tangerine at the top table. And no one can argue that they don't deserve it. Jimmy Armfield, the one club man who has a smile as big as any. Blackpool have come to Wembley, and Don, they have won the big one, and they have won it big time.
Oh, they have won it big time. Congratulations to them. They were absolutely excellent, and they deserve all the plaudits coming their way.
Let's get some reaction. Ian Holloway, man of the moment, is with Greg Whelan.
Ian, a quite extraordinary playoff final. Can you quite take in what you've just achieved?
Not at the moment, no. We spoke about all sorts of things. and we knew the quality that Cardiff had, which they showed. But my lads' spirit, they kept going, they kept doing the same thing. I'm so proud, I can't believe this. This is absolutely outstanding.
How proud of you of the way your team have gone and won this game, twice coming back from behind?
I think they're learning as a group that they got to believe in themselves. Second half, Cardiff threw everything at us. We still showed signs of not keeping the ball, but first half is, for me, the future. You have to keep the ball. And they did it so well, I just can't tell you how I feel. Absolutely magnificent. Not just for my team, but for the whole of the area we come from. You don't understand what it means. They're all going to have so much money now coming from the Premier League. And I just can't tell you how we feel to do that for them. With these crowds, with these gates we're going to get. It's outstanding.
And to do it with the style of football you've played. You promised us a very exciting final. Look what we got.
It's exactly what it is. I feel gutted for the Cardiff lads. But I've got to say, I've never worked with a group of people who deserve this more.
Just one more very quickly. You said you wanted to actually achieve something as a manager. What do you think of this as an achievement?
Can't put it in the words, honestly. Greg, you've caught me, mate. I like a chat, but you've caught me today. I'm bursting with pride.
Many, many congratulations.
Thank you.
When he's recovered his voice a little, when he's recovered his composure on what is quite simply an extraordinary managerial achievement. Quite an effort from the players to hear a couple of the goal scorers with Patrick Davison.
Charlie, you're on your way to the Premier League. Is it as good as you dreamed?
No. It was a tough match, and you know, the attitude, the desire to come back for 2 goals, you know, was tremendous. It shows the spirit. And over the piece, I think we deserve to be where we're going to go, and you know, to go to places that where we're going to go is, I can't speak. It's been unbelievable.
You got that first goal. What were you thinking already behind when it came to a free kick?
Well, I think to go with the efforts I had all season, well, I had no chance of scoring, but luckily enough, I went in and said the lads deserve enormous credit, because you know, for the board, right down to the players, they worked so hard, and I tell you what, Blackpool got to Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge, can't ask for anything else.
Brent, you played in an FA Cup final. How does this compare?
Well, we didn't win that, so it was one of the most devastating days of my life, and this has just turned it on its head. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I'm absolutely speechless. I don't think anyone, you know, beginning of the season, we got off. The gaffer came in. The gaffer deserves 90, I'm telling you. I honestly don't know what to say.
Where were you for that last half an hour?
I've just been pacing in the dressing room. It's been the longest half hour of my life, honestly.
Brent, the first Blackpool player to play for the club in all 4 divisions. Do you feel like you've completed a journey today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's the gaffer who put the belief in the lads, you know. We're little Blackpool, and we've kept the belief in our dressing room all season. Fantastic. Lads have stuck together through thick and thin. You know, we had the second smallest budget in the league.
Charlie, £500,000 you were signed for in the summer. Did you realise you were signing for this?
Yeah. The manager said to me at the start of the season, you know, come here and hopefully you get to the Premier League. We've done it, and you know, we just enjoy the occasion, enjoy our summer, and wait for the fixtures to come.
Well done, both of you. Great achievement.
Not long to wait. June the 17th, those fixtures will be released. Their first date will be August the 14th. They will play their first game, Blackpool, as a Premier League club. Clark Carlisle started your career there. Did you think you would see the day?
I never thought I'd see it coming that Blackpool would be in the top flight, but then after watching their progress this season under Ollie, you know, you start to believe, you start to join and think, well, maybe it could happen. And at the start of the game today, talking with Biggs, we were both of the tangerine persuasion. We thought they'd come through, and a few heart in mouths moments in that second half, but it was fully deserved. I'm absolutely delighted for Ollie, for the board, Oyston family, and everyone related to the club. You know, it's a magnificent achievement.
Peter Bigby, why were you so convinced?
Well, I think because of what I've saw today, you know, the epitomised team spirit, work ethic, played in a shape and a format that, you know, has been successful, and have played in the high-octane games in such a relaxed fashion. And we've seen him go behind again on 2 occasions in a game like this. But the running that they've had has primed them for this situation, and sometimes it looks as if somebody's name is on something like this, and for me it did Blackpool. The chat there with Charlie Adam was interesting, because I'm sure that the manager had said to him, you know, come and use this as a stepping stone to the Premiership. I don't think he fully believed, you know, we know that Ollie lives on a different planet sometimes, but I don't think he'd have fully believed that they'd get to the Premiership. But there he is, hugging his players, and you can see Brett Ormerod there, you know, epitomises everything about little old Blackpool, really. They struggled a bit when he actually went off, lost a bit of momentum, but amazing achievement for Ollie, and if he can't be doubting himself now because of what he's achieved with his set of players.
Well, in Brett Ormerod's words, the gaffer deserves knighting. Would you echo that, Steve?
Yes, without doubt. You know, in a game now which is dominated by finance and money, and the big boys usually win, you know, Ollie has proved that the dream lives on. You can form a group of players who have got ability, who have got organisation, who've got spirit and confidence instilled in them by the manager, and you can achieve. You know, nobody gave them a cat and hell's chance at the start of the season, and here they are now, probably the greatest footballing day in their lives, and something they will remember for the rest of their lives, and they'll be heroes in Blackpool. Free men of Blackpool, I'm sure, in the coming weeks.
No little ability as well. Peter, were they the best team today?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You know, it was always going to be a footballing game. I thought they dominated possession, and as I say, after going behind, they never get flustered. They have a tried and tested shape that's stood them in good stead over the course of the season. And interesting that Ollie would have, in particular, said to them, don't change anything, you know, don't play the occasion. We're here because of a reason, because of our footballing ability and the belief within this dressing room that it came to fruition again today.
You made this walk last season, Clark.
Yeah, it's such a magnificent walk. I mean, you overcome with emotion, you know. You feel just proud, happy, ecstatic. You'll see the faces of these guys. 10 months of hard toil, you know. It comes down to this, and you're victorious. And we gave Ollie plaudits before the game, saying that he's adapted his style and he has a different footballing ethos. But you need the players to go and exact that on the pitch. And he's got a squad of players there who have obviously taken what he said and gone out and delivered it to a T. And they fully deserve to make that walk and to receive the glory.
For the moment that Blackpool fans wondered if it would ever come, this walk up the 100 steps, we can rejoin Don Goodman and Bill Leslie.
Well, the soaring landmark of Blackpool, the world-famous tower, was designed by two Lancashire architects who never saw its completion. This achievement, overseen by Ian Holloway, who bought and borrowed the components and assembled the whole, that has defied expectations, fulfilled dreams, and taken Blackpool to the Premier League for the first time in their history. Les Shannon, former Burnley player, was the last manager to do it. And now, in the Legion of Honour with Mortensen, Matthews, Ball and Armfield, there will be new names. Blackpool promoted to the Premier League. There will be tangerine at Old Trafford. There will be tangerine at the Emirates. And up and down the land, those supporters will have a ball, whatever happens. Don't ask Burnley fans about beating Manchester United. Ask Hull City about winning at the Emirates. Magic moments they could only dream about in decades gone by. The odds are that they will struggle when they go up. But goodness me, they'll get some memories if they come back down.
No, this is not a day, not a time to be worrying about what will happen when you get there. They are just having probably the best days of their lives right there, and they've got to enjoy every moment of that. And what he has assembled there is a real credit to him, and it's a real credit to the players, supporters, and everybody connected with Blackpool. And they thoroughly deserve to enjoy this moment.
He spent a year watching football, building chicken coops, coming up with new footballing beliefs, and he's been able to put them into practice, backed by the Latvian money of Valery Belikon, the club's owner, and the guidance on the financial tiller of the Oyston family. And now this has been achieved. And I would imagine, Don, it'll still be the best part of the month, probably until that date, June the 17th, when they actually see the fixtures, that they will properly believe what's happened here today.
Oh, I don't think it'll sink in for a short period of time, that's for sure. And yes, you're right. Once that fixture list comes out and they see the dates that they're going to play some of the giants of world football, but then it'll sink in.
And some of these players who have been journeymen, if you like, around the lower leagues, have been relegated, some from the Football League, and now the man who has made it happen, the magician, the joker, who has come up trumps on the big day, Ian Holloway, a Premier League manager. And as we heard him say before, there is no prouder feeling in the world for him. He's not the tallest in physical stature, but he is a giant for Blackpool.
An absolute giant. He went away and he learned lessons, didn't he? He learned valuable lessons, and those supporters right there, they're the benefactors of those lessons.
Well, it has been an amazing day for Blackpool. It will be an amazing night for Blackpool. The entertainment capital of the UK is about to really come to life, just like a little piece here of North London. Blackpool promoted to the Premier League.
Starting to sink in with those fans. That tangerine sea you can see there, and just starting to sink in here in the studio as well. Steve Coppell, you've done this with Crystal Palace. How is Ian Holloway feeling right now?
Oh, you can't say what he's feeling. I don't think he can. It's just a lovely warm feeling inside, and I'm sure at the back of it he's just so drained. You know, he's put so much effort and commitment into this club over the last 10, 11 months, shaping the team, and he would have made every tackle, passed every ball, won every header throughout that 90-odd minutes, and now he's got what he's wanted, but he'll be worn out in a very nice way.
Message to Swansea player as well, who sadly passed away last week, from Stephen Dobby. And he, like so many of these players, will not be quite sure of where their futures lie, but as we heard from Bill and Don, this is not a day to be reflecting on that really for them. They've been part of an incredible Blackpool achievement, guided, cajoled, organised and inspired by Ian Holloway, who has taken them to the promised land, to the Premier League. At what point does that start sinking in, Clark?
Well, people say, like, you wait for the fixture list, but it's not even then. It's not until you actually start turning up at these stadia, you know, like Old Trafford and the Emirates, and you're lining up against the likes of Drogba and Rooney, that you actually start to believe, oh, bloody Nora, we made it, were we? You know, but on a day like today, you're just desperate to share the situation, the enjoyment, the relief, the joy. They'll do this lap of honour, but you just want to see your family, you know, because ultimately that's who you work for. You just, you know, you want to make them so proud and you want to be successful, and you just can't wait to go back there and tell them that you did it.
They all want to greet and meet the man who's got them there. He had already guided Blackpool to their best league finish for 33 years. Some achievement that was, and we kept saying as the season went on, could they really sneak into the playoffs? They did that on the very last day of the season by holding off Bristol City, while Swansea did manage to win their game. These fine lines. That's all it is, Peter, isn't it, at this stage?
Yeah, it is. It is. Success and failure, we see it, and it's an overused phrase, really, but it's a true phrase. So, but what a job he's done. Top 10 out in the Championship. You know, wouldn't take any of them players apart from Charlie Adam. He's moulded him at the team that's took him to the promised land.
Quite an achievement, quite a story, and we do have more time to reflect on it. We'll leave you with these pictures for the moment. Blackpool on their way to the Premier League, and more reaction next.